chapter one. Okay. We usually do anything in advance.
I'll stand for you. I'll sit up tall. Nobody's
Just want to see if you're paying attention.
So calling the public hearing of chapter 169 Village Code, when I said traffic and vehicles, changes to the speed limit, we're going to keep at 30 now. And except for identified areas, we'll change to 25, we'll have to put that in there. Anyone who'd like to make a comment on this, we had it last month. You can come up to the front of the room, say your name, say your address, and make the comment.
The stop sign at the intersection of Walnut and on Washington Street, heading south on Washington Street, will be shrouded for the winter.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It'll be covered so that you don't have to worry about stopping in the
We're
snow.
gonna put a bag over it.
We'll have to, we'll add it.
Washington. One going up the hill.
Well, it's gonna be changes to the.
Yeah, we'll change that. Yeah, I'd add that to the.
Yeah, that's a rough one.
January 1st and March 1st, March 30th.
Well, any other, we're gonna have to set traffic
Stop sign.
30 miles.
Seasonal
So a
stop
bunch of
sign.
changes, that's just putting on, right? Okay. Anyone like to comment
Can't hear you.
on the changes to 169? Okay, do I have a motion to close this hearing? Second, all in favor? Okay. Okay, you, 183 is the definition. You want to go through that? Or you want to just see if anything's any comments? Okay. Okay, public hearing for chapter 183, building code changes to definitions. Does anyone want to comment on that? Can you repeat that?
Yeah.
Building code 183, that changes to definitions. Does anybody want to make any comments on that?
What exactly is 183? Could you explain?
Building code?
Yeah, but what is it? I mean, what is the change? Yeah, I don't have the paper.
To back of you there.
I can
Yeah, I know,
give
but can you read it? Thank you.
Can I read it? Yeah, what's it
Oh,
called?
whoever wants to read it, yeah, I don't care.
Without getting specific, if anybody has any specific questions, I'll be happy to answer it. But the issue of clarity has come up time and again with almost all of our codes. Some of them are contradictory. Some of them you really don't understand what they're trying to say. So in bits and pieces, and the code regarding building and zoning and the like, that came up first. And I was going over it, and there are definitions that we're essentially tweaking. There's nothing that is going to change, but it's just going to be clearer. There was one meeting quite a while ago where I mentioned structure. That was the first thing that started this, is that when I came across the word structure, it was used in various places throughout our codes. And each time it was a different definition, including one that said a structure is any structure that is structured. Anyway, they used the word structure 3 times in the definition of structure. So that's not helpful. And in an effort to make it easier for residents to look up a code and get a sense of whether or not they need a building permit, whether or not they have something that might constitute an unsafe condition, because at our last hearing we talked about that in the building permit code. We changed the definitions to just make it clear. We floated it around a number of people, the board. Frank and I kind of collaborated on some of these things, but just coming to mind, there was the definition of structure, definition of building. I I think even, I don't know whether or not it was included in this, I know I had put, what was the meaning, stairway. I really, I'm not prepared to make a presentation on this, but I'd be happy to answer anybody's questions if you have it. But, as I said, to me and to the people who reviewed it, we didn't make any changes that are controversial, it's just to make it clearer. So if anybody says, well, this is not clear to me, please let me know and I'll be able to clarify.
Thank you.
Any comments? Okay, do I have a motion to close that initial change? Okay. Second?
Who's second?
Second.
Public hearing to hear chapter 57, burning open. This is, changes that are being made are to section 57-1, which, states no person shall build or cause to build or ignite or cause ignited fire upon the streets, highways, and public places, nor shall any person build or cause to be built or ignite or cause it to be ignited any fire upon a lot or place within the village of Poquott except an open fire that is contained in a fire pit that is located at a place designated by the Poquott Village Board and maintained by the village or the public for use by the Poquott community shall be permitted, as well as fires that are subject to directions of the local fire department and will be attended by the same subject and approved by the board. So this is only changing village property, correct, Joe? Okay. Anyone like to comment on this? Come step forward, say your name, address, make a comment.
Alicia Chung, 60 Washington Street. I find it confusing because it says any lot in the village of Poquott. So unless it says any public lot, it's any lot in the village of Poquott.
Okay. Thank you for your comment.
You welcome.
Anyone else?
Diana Padilla,
Stand
61.
up here, say your name,
Oh,
your address.
excuse me, oops. Oh, sorry. Diana Padilla, 61 Washington Street. First, this fire pit was built illegally by interest of a handful of people in the village. There's been numerous times when people have spoken to this board and to the village about how it seriously impacts negatively on the health and well-being and just general livability of people who were forced to live next to a fire pit that was put into the village illegally. No one was consulted on its placement or where it should be, and so now retroactively there's a wish to make it legal because it's been there illegally. When shortly after I first moved to the village, their gate was locked there at California Park because people were concerned that teenagers were going to California Park at night and building fires and having parties. Now we have middle-aged people going there and having parties and having fires, but this is deemed okay with no consideration of the people who it is negatively impacting. If there is to be a consensus that somehow the village needs a fire pit, then I would seriously request that you reconsider relocating it somewhere very far away from people's homes so that when people are there late at night having little parties and building smoke and doing whatever that they do not continually negatively impact the people who did not ask for this, did not wish for this, and for whom it has been a serious negative impact on their lives.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else like to comment?
I don't know.
Dr. Bingham.
So Roger Flood, 101 Van Brunt. So the rule that's being changed now dates from 1931, and so everyone who's moved into the village since 1931 has been under the impression that there are no open fires in the village, private or public lands. And so now after 85 years, there seems to be a need to change this so that there can be an open fire. I didn't see any findings in here, no declaration of why this is good, what benefit is coming by having this this kind of facility. Perhaps the only justification is it's not allowed on private land, so we have to find a public place to do this. It's not even a statement that says that this kind of groupings couldn't happen if there wasn't an open fire. Maybe there are other ways to encourage people to get together and talk without an open fire. So, so as I said, there's no findings as to why this should be changed. And as we've heard, those living nearby who bought properties knowing that there were no open fires allowed are negatively affected. And it's just not enough to change a policy that's been in existence for 85 years.
Do you think that this needs a secret review before the village can do anything?
No idea.
No, it'd be a type 2 action, right?
I think it's an unlisted action.
Oh, instead of.
Yeah. Needs a review.
So that means no sequel?
No, it needs a resolution.
Okay.
But that's not what this law is about right now. What the law is about right now is allowing that we can have an open fire.
We can't hear you.
Yeah. Anyone else like to comment?
Hi, Mike Swanson, 16 Washington Street. I want to say, having attended all of the parties, shall we call them, at the fire pit, they have been very quiet. No loud AC/DC or Metallica music. Nobody's yelling and screaming profanity and obscene jokes. It's been pleasure amongst older people, not 18-year-olds. There's no heavy drinking going on. I know I certainly don't drink, and a lot of other people do not.
I've been there.
And, I mean, you can laugh all you want and make all the derogatory comments you want, but you weren't there.
You address the board, not the people.
You should watch what you say.
The question is not,
That is
the
correct.
question is not about the location of the fire pit at this time. The location,
I
the
have it
question,
recorded.
though this law is doing right now is whether fire pit can be on village property. That's what the change is right now.
Okay. All right, well, it has been enjoyable, and I thank you for allowing me.
Today.
Cindy Davis, 11 Birchwood. A follow-up to Diana's. You are looking also at a property maintenance law, which is also supposed to impact our quality of life. And if you have something like this, you may not be telling loud jokes, but you're not stopping the smoke from spreading. People who don't have air conditioners, people who want their windows open in the summer, have to smell the smoke ball. I smell the smoke where I am over here. So it travels. And if you live right down there, yes, it can be a nuisance. And yes, that's your quality of life, and you shouldn't have to be inhaling smoke from fires at 10, 11 o'clock at night. And if you proceed with a dock, what is going to stop people from coming up to a dock and using the fire pit? You're not going to have security there all the time. This is just impacting people who live around the fire pit. If you want, put it in your backyard and let them, and you can inhale the smoke, but not everybody who lives around that area.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments on the fire pit?
Ron Cagle, 10 Maple Avenue. I totally agree with all this stuff about the smoke. I think it's a terrible thing that people live there, and I think it's really, but besides that, I like to walk on the beach, and I have to walk through smoke. I just think there's no reason for it. It's just a nuisance, and it's not a good thing. It's not fostering, you can get together without a fire that's gonna smell the poor people who live right by there and didn't know they were gonna have to inhale smoke. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dan Bolsey, 49, 53 Chestnut. There's not a lot I want to say because clearly the residents support how we feel about this, and we've spoke about this numerous times. I do have a recording from my front door of the fire pit at one point in time. Bear with me because it's, if I can make this phone play as loud as it was. This is at the front door. So penetrating the bedroom. I'm not retired. I gotta sleep. I want to wake up. I want to have peace of mind. I don't want to go insane. You know, my children are disturbed by it. I'm disturbed by it. Thinking about hooking a generator up to my grandfather's grave. He's spinning so much we could probably power the whole village. You know. Yeah, I'm so tired of this battle. I mean, I'm handing it over to my attorney, and that really breaks my heart. I mean, like you wouldn't believe. I've done, you guys don't even know the volunteering I've done for this village, because I'm not asked, I just do what's right, I do what's needed.
Yeah.
I have a quote here. I'd like to read it. Whether we know it or not, like it or not, honor it or not, we are embedded in community. Whether we think of ourselves as biological creatures or spiritual beings or both, the truth remains. We are created in and for a complex ecology of relatedness, and without it we wither and die. The simple fact has critical implications. Community is not a goal to be achieved, but a gift to be received. When we treat community as a product that we must manufacture, instead of a gift that we have been given, it will elude us eternally. When we try to make community happen, driven by desire, design, and determination, places within us where the ego often lurks, we can make a good guess at the outcome. We will exhaust ourselves and alienate each other, snapping the connections we yearn for. Too many relationships have been diminished or destroyed by a drive towards community building, which evokes a grasping that is the opposite of what we need to do. Relax into our created condition and receive the gift that we've been given. Parker J. Palmer.
Any other comments? I don't know who that is.
That's me.
Yes, go up there now.
Just hop over. Sorry, guys. Carol Pesic, 79 Chestnut. Whether you're in favor or opposed to a fire pit, there's a fire pit in a public park right now, and whether you have contained parties or not really isn't the only issue. What's to stop anybody at any time to go there and build a fire and walk away and leave the fire burning because there's no regulations for the fire pit, and then something flies out of the fire pit and starts a fire nearby? What's to stop the teenagers from going down there when the older people are not there? Build a fire and have a booze party around a fire pit, because it would be legal for them to build a fire there because it's a legal fire pit made by the village. It's inviting all kinds of trouble that has nothing to do with the residents that are finding community in that fire pit. It's inviting a lot of young people to visit that spot and do things that we don't want happening in our parks.
Any other comments?
Gary Garfano, 14 Highview. I hear you all, and I just want to know this. Down at Walnut, I drive and I see all the fire, the 50-gallon drums cut in half and stacked up along the beaches. And I take your view and I understand your view and I respect your view. But I hope you have that same objection when you go down to Walnut and you see, and Van Brunt Manor, when you see all those fires down there, and those fires are burning, and those same houses, I guess those rental houses along there, do those people have those same objections? And are they spoken, do those people speak out also when all those people, when those people on that beach, on that Walnut Beach?
Sounds like they're speaking for them now.
Are you speaking for them now?
No, well, you're addressing us, right? You're talking to us.
No, I'm not. I'm talking to you
Yeah,
guys
well, you
too.
can't.
I mean, are you speaking for them too?
Never seen one.
Okay, so I'm speaking to everybody. Are you objecting to that too?
Sure.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, done.
Thanks, Gary.
Any other comments?
Yes,
You've already made a comment.
So,
No.
not about the fire pit.
Okay.
Just got a comment for everything.
Can you speak to them?
It's a recount.
What comment
I can answer Gary's questions.
Okay, well, you don't need
I
to know.
specifically know who's lighting those fires, and I have walked my dog at night, and when I get to the Walnut Beach, that fire is left unattended. And sand has to be kicked in it, because there's nothing there to do anything to put those fires out. It is very dangerous, and I do know firsthand that the woman that has the 5 cottages, Verda working, don't roll your eyes, Mayor Parrish, this is the truth.
I'm looking at you.
She got a notice from her insurance company regarding those fire pits
No,
that
she
were on her
didn't. She got a
property.
notice from her insurance company that had to do with the garbage that was left on her property, which were
Which was not
chairs
her
and-
garbage, was
They were not
the
fire
people
pits,
from the fire
They were
pit.
picnic
It was the
tables, and they were
wood.
chairs, so you're not telling the whole truth.
I am telling the
Okay.
truth, because she had to have even her fire pits, when the insurance company came, her tenants had to remove, one tenant had a chimenea, and that chimenea had to be removed, or she was gonna lose her insurance. So yes, that is the
She
truth.
removed it to village property.
No,
That's what
it's because, no,
Yes.
don't debate me.
Where
And
is
that's
the
a
city?
fact.
Where is it now? Do you know where it is? It's being.
It's gone.
Yeah, you know why? Because she called us to say she volunteered,
Because
she gave it
it's-
to the village, and we stored it for the
It's-
winter.
It's not her chimenea, it was left there by the people who encroached on using her property.
She claims that she donated to the village.
No.
Any other comments on open burning?
A couple of quick questions. It clearly states the only fire you can have is in a fire pit. People with barbecues and bread ovens and pizza ovens and such, how does that affect them?
It doesn't. This is only for village property. This isn't for
Village.
residential. This is only changing the law for village property.
Do we have a law for the
No, we
general,
don't have one.
don't we, open burning, we have a law.
This is not
For
open
residential.
burning.
Okay.
This is not open burning. This is in a contained, commercial.
Right, but as far as someone's,
So when
we
you
don't
say
have
all the
residential.
lots,
So do
With
we
the
have,
hose
well,
right
my
there.
question is, do we have anything that prohibits the average resident from having a covered fire pit?
Yeah, it's an open burn.
I'm sorry?
Yes.
Yes.
We do. So so the average person in the middle of the most condensed area of the village can have a fire pit and it's legal?
No, it's
It's not
called an open fire.
Even, but I
so
thought
the
we.
barbecues that people have.
I thought with the covering on a fire pit, that exempted it from the open burning part. Am I wrong? Didn't we have this discussion, or am I crazy?
You mean a fire pit with a cover, is that exempt? I don't think it's exempt.
Somebody said it was, that's how we got started on this whole.
Yeah, I didn't see anything as residential that was in.
No, but
We can go look at residential if you want to, but right now,
Yeah,
there's nothing to
yeah,
do with
well-
residential.
My point is that I would like to table any further discussion on this thing. To take, if it turns out that there are residents who have their own fire pit and it's covered and they use it,
Mhm.
then it would be consistent for us to have this law so that we're consistent across the village. Whether or not, as we were saying before, it allows or doesn't allow any fire pit to be located in any particular area within the village, we're really talking about a law that talks about fire pits on village property, which is separate from the one at the end of the specific one. But also, I feel it should be integrated into a law that says, I mean, if we just had a blank law that says you can't have open burning in any kind of a fire pit, because even with the cover, it's gonna generate smoke to the neighbors or something like that, but we're not getting any complaints of that.
No.
So I just want to see whether or not there are people who have fire pits, they use them, and they're against us because they're against anything that the village does. If it's that, if it turns out that everybody is against open burning, and all of the fire pits that people have in the village are not being used because they recognize that it's an inconvenience for their neighbors, we should be a part of that. So it should be
Okay.
consistent.
So do you want to make a motion to?
I want a
keep
motion
this-
to table this.
Oh, so we're gonna keep the public hearing open for next month.
Yeah,
We'll look into
and
this
we'll
and then
take a
we'll
look
go
at
back, okay? Sounds good. Do I have a second?
Second.
Yeah, you have one from Felicia, because she's recording this, you know.
Okay, so, we're going to table.
If we have anything like that, what about somebody who has an
outdoor fireplace, that's the
Right.
same thing, that's an open fireplace.
Well,
Well, what about people that have spent $10,000-$15,000 building outdoor fireplaces, you're gonna tell them now they can't do it?
Yeah.
It should be part of the discussion.
Right.
What I'm saying
That's
is,
what
it
he's
should
saying.
be.
He's not saying that, he's saying let's just
Well,
look into the
that says, if everybody says, today, we're against open fires because it's ecologically not good for the air, or something like that, we say, okay, fine, it applies to everybody. But this law is saying that it allows us, and we may have a law that says that all the other residents can't do it. I-
The very people that are complaining the most
I don't wanna get into that.
on the night
Don't
of
wanna
the
get into
Yeah,
that.
tournament
Just
yeah,
want it
that's
to be
fine.
had open
consistent.
We just wanna
fires.
be
We
right.
just want to do it right.
Okay, so that's fine. We'll
You're
do
gonna
it.
have to address the situation for gas fire pits,
Right.
wood fire pits, chimeneas, and/or outdoor fireplaces. As a separate issue on the residential side.
Okay, so we'll table it then to February. Okay. Okay, public hearing on the new proposed rental housing law. Would anybody like to comment on that? I don't see any changes in. Are we making a comment?
Yeah, I have a couple of
Come
comments.
up, say your name, your address.
Alicia Tilak, 60 Washington Street. I have a question on the definition of a boarding house or rooming house. It says, a building that provides sleeping accommodations with or without compensation for 16 or fewer persons. So that could be anybody in this room. How you can deem my house a boarding house, because I have 2 people there, because it says 16 or fewer. Should it not be 16 or more?
Frank, from what I understand, it's one person, 2 people per bedroom, correct?
It's not written in here.
Not in this specific section that we wrote that, however, that definition was obtained from other municipalities, and that would have to be reviewed by the village attorney. And it would not apply to this resident's home unless, of course, she's saying that she's renting that home.
Oh, I'm talking about the whole law here. I mean, we have a definition, I'm questioning, is that definition correct? And that brings me to my second question. What is Frank's qualifications for writing this law?
What's anyone's qualification is ridiculous.
I'm just asking.
Okay, yeah.
I'm
no,
asking a question,
He is
just
the head of
please
the-
answer
Right.
it.
Head of public safety.
Exactly.
Okay. But code enforcement generally enforces the laws, not writing the laws.
Who are you, what are your qualifications to
I'm a realtor.
challenge his qualifications?
I'm a resident asking a question, which this is a public hearing, I'm allowed to ask a
He's the head
question.
of public safety.
You're allowed to
Okay,
make
so
public
that's your
comments.
answer, that's all. Just give me the answer. And then I have another question. Mayor Parrish, originally you said you want to know who lives there in the houses. Are you familiar with the Fair Housing Act and how it relates to your identifying who lives in the house?
No, I'm not.
Okay, I think you should look into it before you start deciding to make a statement about who's living there, because you may be in violation of the Fair Housing Act.
Okay.
Gary Garfano, 14 Highview. Why is there so much obstruction in this room? Just a rhetorical question.
I can't.
Obstructionism.
Thank you for your comment. Any other comments that have to do with the new proposed rental housing law? I can't see either one of you, so you have to come up here, say your name, say your address, make your comment.
My name is Debbie Stevens, I live on the same street as the mayor. And I bought my house in 1991. And I moved in 1992. And I bought it from a couple who were going through a very angry divorce. And the 17-year-old son, I'm gonna cry telling this story, went under the ground and cut all the wires, and there was graffiti all over the place, there were cracked tiles, there were all kinds of things. Bramble, overgrown. I can't tell you what I spent on that house, fixing that house up. Planted 72 arborvitaes, had bobcats come in and clean and all kinds of stuff. Added to the house, got the COs, did everything properly. And I have an apartment because I'm alone and my taxes are really, really high. I had to hear Harry say I have people living in my garages. Not true. I have 2 driveways, one on Singing Wood and one on Indian Valley. And each driveway can hold, the new one can probably hold 12 cars comfortably. And the original one on Singing Wood holds 6 or 8 cars comfortably. And the mayor and the village attorney have gone around and taken pictures of my house and the cars there. I had a person living there renting an apartment who hasn't been there since June. Now, I have a girlfriend, and the house is almost 7,000 square feet. I have a girlfriend living there with her 2 daughters. I never had children, I couldn't have children. And I am getting harassed because my girlfriend lives with me, with her 2 daughters who are finally able to take advantage of the $500,000 I have paid in taxes in this village. And I am getting harassed. I got another call from code enforcement, and I've been like Don, all I do is want to do the right thing. Harry plowed my driveway for 20 years. My ex left, I've been divorced. Not one time has Harry come and said, Deb, do you need any help? Can I help you? There's been no village. It's been so divisive. It's been terribly divisive. We need to help each other. And I'm being harassed like hell. I want to live my life. I want to live and let live. This shouldn't be, there shouldn't be, if there's one thing that bothers one person in this village, it shouldn't be. If there's one thing that makes somebody ill in this village, it shouldn't be. I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know what to do. If you come in and look at the house again, it was inspected once already with a smiley face. Mike came in, no apartments, fine, I'm good. And now I get a call. I come home at 10 o'clock. There's a message from code enforcement. They want to come into my house again. What's going on here?
They stop us.
I don't know what to say. It's not fair. I don't want to say. I don't know what to say or do. I pick up everybody's papers. I clean up. I don't ask for pats on the back. Carrie, that you haven't helped me. I don't even think you have a CO for your sunroom that Skip built for you 10 years ago. I'd like to see that CO. You don't have it, and you live in a basement. How dare everybody? How dare everybody pick on me? How dare you? I'm so tired of it.
Mike, there's no comment.
Please, it's so not right.
Any other comments on this law? Diane?
Diana Padilla, 61 Washington Street. I find the continued creation of laws like this very oddly intrusive, and I haven't had the experience of some of my neighbors. I don't understand why it doesn't apply to illegal apartments that are rampant in the village. We